morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I want to thank everyone for being here in the great city of Richmond on this very important day where we get a chance to celebrate another significant step in the reforming of our Commonwealth's criminal justice system. You know, this courthouse, like courthouses all across Virginia, have a lot of stories to tell. And historically, for people of color, too often they have been stories of justice denied, of hardship and heartache and unequal treatment under the law. And one of the areas where the inequity has been most evident has been in our probation and parole system. Back in, I believe it was 2017, me and my friend Brian Moran, the Secretary of Public Safety, I guess it was 2014 actually, we started, the time does fly when you're having fun, we started exploring by the request of Governor McAuliffe the reform to the parole system. But at the time, we didn't have the allies that we have with us today. It is estimated that 4.5 million people are currently on parole or probation for unreasonable terms. That's a 50% increase since 2000. People like my brother Meek Mill here, who is here with us today, have felt that impact. And so many people who are not Meek, but who also have to cope with the unfairness of a system that holds them back from realizing their full potential long after they have paid their debt to society. Criminal justice reform and how we treat returning citizens is personal to me. My father was a returning citizen who struggled his entire working life to support his family, wearing a scarlet letter on his chest every day when he entered society. He was burdened by a previous offense that limited his potential and denied him some of the basic rights of citizenship long after he had paid his debt. That's why, as Secretary of the Commonwealth, I worked with Governor McAuliffe to help restore the civil and voting rights to more than 180,000 former felons. And that's why today's signing of House Bill 2038 is so important, because come July 1, Virginia is going to take another step on the path to justice. We owe thanks to Delegate Scott and like-minded lawmakers in the Virginia General Assembly and to the leadership of Governor Northam. We owe thanks to support and tireless advocacy of members of Reform Alliance, its leader Robert Rooks, and people like Philadelphia 76ers partner Michael Rubin, who are also here with us today. This bill will effectively end imprisonment for technical violations of probation and implement caps on prohibition by limiting adult probation sentences to a maximum of 1 year for misdemeanor offenses and 5 years for felonies. Bringing justice to our probation reform will create safer and more stable and productive communities, and it will tell who will be able to return to live what they are welcome to and what they're committed to giving them to best opportunity to succeed in places like the city of Richmond. Now it is my distinct honor and pleasure to welcome to the podium my friend, the 73rd Governor of Virginia, Ralph Northam.
Thank you, LeVar. Well, good morning, and first of all, welcome to all of our guests here to Virginia. We're happy to have you here, and we hope you come back again soon. LeVar, thank you, first of all, for your comments and your leadership and your friendship, and you know, I know Delegate Scott, welcome here out of Portsmouth, Virginia. You know, we both hail from 757, but we're glad to be in Richmond today, and we're glad to have the leadership of our mayor, who has really made this city welcoming, diverse, and most importantly, inclusive. And that's why people are coming to Richmond now. And to LeVar, we thank you for your leadership. And to all of you that are joining us today, either here in person or through our cameras, welcome, and we appreciate you being here. In the past few years, as LeVar said, we have taken important steps forward to reform our criminal justice system. We've raised the felony larceny threshold and ended the practice of suspending people's driver's license for unpaid fines and fees or for non-driving related offenses. We have ended the use of the death penalty here in Virginia, and in just a few weeks, marijuana possession for adults will no longer be illegal in our Commonwealth. We have done these things because our criminal justice system has been inequitable for far too long. Too many crimes bring lengthy sentences that outweigh the severity of the offense. And that has resulted in far too many people, particularly too many people of color, in our prisons and jails. While none of these policies will end the problems of mass incarceration on their own, every step forward matters. And the step we're celebrating today is indeed a very important one. Too many people are in prison not because of the original crime they committed, but because once they were out on probation, they did something that caused the court to revoke their probation and send them back to prison. According to a 2019 report from the Council of State Governments, a quarter of state prison admissions nationwide are for technical violations of probation or parole. In 2018, 13% of people admitted to Virginia's prisons were there for technical violations. That was up from 8% in 2010. As of April of this year, more than 58,000 Virginians are on probation, more than double the nearly 24,000 in prison. If 13% of them went back to prison for technical violations, that would be 7,540 people. Imagine that. Now, if someone commits another crime while on probation or absconds, that's one thing. But too often, these are what are called technical violations, such as missing a meeting with a probation officer or failing to report change in jobs. That's what lands you back in prison, and that's wrong. And yet they result in the person's probation being revoked, landing them back in prison, literally for years. And that's not how our system should be working. Justice must be fair, it must be equitable, and punishment should fit the crime. Nor it is a good use of taxpayer money to lock people up for minor probation violations. Keeping someone in prison costs almost $34,000 a year. Supervising them on probation costs just over $1,300. So, thanks to Delegate Scott's bill, we will put limits on the length of time a person can be sentenced to probation after their prison time. The bill also defines what constitutes technical violations of probation, and it says that courts cannot send a person back to prison for a first technical violation, nor for a second one under some circumstances. Our criminal justice system has forced too much on punishment and too little on grace for people trying to do the right thing. Putting people behind bars for minor violations of probation simply adds to the nationwide problem of mass incarceration. And it makes it harder for people who are trying to rebuild their lives and take advantage of the second chance they have to make better choices. This bill is one step toward a less punitive system, and I again want to thank Delegate Scott for this important legislation, and also thank the other delegates and senators that supported this and did the right thing for the Commonwealth of Virginia. It is also important to realize that when we make important steps like this, these things don't happen in a vacuum. They happen because people like you come and visit and tell your stories and work as advocates to make our society, to make our communities, and in this case, make our Commonwealth a better place and a place that is welcoming. So I want to thank all of the advocates. I must say it is exciting to have Meek Mill here with us.
I'm excited to be here.
Meek, I've already had so many requests, and from my children, from everybody, said, look, you need to realize what's going on here. And but Meek, thank you for being with us, and most importantly, thank you for your story, and thank you for your advocacy. I want to also thank Michael Rubin and Robert Rooks from the Reform Alliance and Justice Forward Virginia. Your work to highlight this issue here in Virginia and nationwide is truly, truly making a difference. So thanks to all of you. And without further ado, all the way here from 757 from the city of Portsmouth in my hometown, in my backyard, from the 80th Delegate District, I want to welcome to the podium, looking good this morning as always, Delegate Don Scott. What can we say, Don?
First of all, good morning.
Good morning.
I want to thank everyone for being here. I want to thank all of our colleagues. Definitely want to thank the governor. You know, it's amazing when you have leadership, real leadership that doesn't run from a problem, but runs to the problem to help solve the problem. We got to give it up for the governor because he could have easily shirked a lot of the things that we wanted to do, but he saw the problem and he wanted to be a part of the solution. I want to thank the mayor for welcoming us to our city. I don't come to Richmond and get in front of a podium without calling them and get permission first. So I wanted to make sure that we're good. I want to thank the chair of the Black Caucus, Lamont Bagby. He's a soldier, got your back. He makes these things a priority for us. It's easy to do the work that you do when you have people backing you that believe in the mission. So it's very easy to do that work. I want to thank the Reform Alliance. I want to thank Robert Rubin. This man is on CNBC, y'all. He was on CNBC last week talking about something I don't even understand, NFTs, and some other stuff. He's an expert. I want to thank the Jacqueline, Jessica Jackson, Aaron Haney, folks from Reform Alliance. They some beasts. And of course, I got to thank my man Meek. Meek is a beast. I don't know him. We got Twitter love, and now we got real love. But he is a beast. I know him through his music, like all of us think we know folks, but we really don't know that struggle. We don't know their story. I want to thank the majority leader, Chanel Herring, who's here, who always has our back. She's also chair, of course, of Justice. So when I come up with these crazy ideas for these bills, and she doesn't look at me, kind of look at me sideways, she'll go ahead and say, hold on, let's see if we can tighten this thing up and make it a little better. You know, she's an attorney, I'm an attorney. But at the end of the day, you know, I was telling Meek, don't let the suit and tie fool you. I'm from the hood. I'm from 3rd Ward, Houston, Texas, originally. I'm not going to sing somehow, some way.
We got to make it about
We got to make it about the hood some way. But anyway, dreams and night scares and the whole this dude here, man, listen. When you have somebody who's been in this experience that's not afraid to come and talk, because, you know, I'm going to tell y'all something. We're talking about criminal justice, but really I look at this as economic justice. When you keep people from being able to maximize their God-given ability, look at all that fucking all that freaking talent they got sitting in a jail cell. You see what I'm saying? All this talent sitting in a jail cell, everything he owns in a box smaller than this. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're doing to people. We're taking away people's lives. We're taking away people's dreams. We're telling people you're nothing, you'll never be nothing, and when you come home, we're going to make sure that we remind you every day of what you've done. I'm a felon. It don't hurt me. Say that thing all day long. It's like water off a duck's back. I paid no mind. Something I did in 1994 that was BS, but I got a 10-year sentence. I remember my mother crying in the courtroom. I was locked up. I was arrested studying in the law library. So don't tell me that this system is fair. What we have to do is make this system better. I'm not giving up. I know that we have more things to do. The reason that I bring these type of bills is because of folks like Meek, folks that doesn't have his platform, that doesn't have my platform. I'm nobody in this game. But I believe that we have to continue to fight, and there are people who don't want to hear these stories. They want to ignore them. We know that this system was set up based on straight racism. We know it was designed, if they catch a few white people in there too, well, that's okay. Collateral damage. It was set up to get us and keep us from maximizing the power and doing what God gave us the talent to do. So the reason I'm here and the reason I care about these things is because of those reasons. People told me I would never be an attorney. They were wrong. Told me I would never practice law. They were wrong. told me told me don't run for office. Keep quiet, keep your head down, you should be ashamed and embarrassed. They were wrong, I paid them no mind. That's why we're here today. For folks like that, and we can let our kids know you can make a mistake, you could fall down, and you could come back and be stronger than ever. So with that, because I could go on and on, y'all know I'm a lawyer, you know I'm a trial lawyer too, I run my mouth for a living. But with that, I want to bring up the Reform CEO, Robert Rooks, who's been doing everything. He's been in this fight a lot longer than I have, and I'm proud to call him a friend and a colleague now. He's somebody we can pick up the phone and just talk policy, life, and you'd be surprised. These folks got the same issues we have, y'all. Folks out here fighting got the same issues every day. So without further ado, I want to bring up Robert Rooks, my man.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. This is indeed a good morning. Thank you, Delegate Scott, for your story, for making this happen. It's always good to connect with someone that after you converse with them, you feel like you've known them a lifetime. That's indeed Delegate Scott. Thank you, Governor, for creating this space here today, and Mayor, for your opening remarks. Today is truly a historic day. This bill that will be signed today will bring relief to tens and thousands of people that are both incarcerated right now for a violation. 40% of Virginia's prison population are people that were violated on supervision. It'll also bring relief to the 60,000 people on probation, living in communities, living life in their homes, but still incarcerated at the same time. Today is not just about a bill, though. It's about something greater. From my view, from my standpoint, just watching everything that happened to get us here, today is an expression of love. It's an expression of love because you have Meek Mill and Delegate Scott, both people that paid their debt to society, came out, made amazing success, could continue to look forward, but decided to look back. Decided to go back and help others like them, and then connected via a tweet. Today is about love because you have Michael Rubin, who saw his good friend Meek Mill get sentenced to a 2 to 4 year bid for not committing a new crime. Michael jumped into action to support his friend, but he didn't stop there. He realized that there are millions of people like Meek all across this country dealing with an unjust probation and parole system, and made a big bet to make change happen. Today is about love because you have partners like Justice Forward and Brad, what are you doing? Come on up here. Get on up here. Give Brad a hand. You have Justice Forward and American Conservative Union and others that sprung into action when Delegate Scott let the world know he wanted change to happen. And I get a chance to see love every day with my amazing team, with Jessica Jackson, Aaron Haney, Lewis Reed, who work tirelessly for the people that they care about and represent. And I also want to recognize someone that has been a colleague and a counsel for me, Saj Sharon, who answers my call when I need advice. So yes, today is about change, it's about laws, it's about providing real opportunity for people, but it's also love in action. So thank you so much for all of you that made today happen, for coming out, for listening to people share their story. For this is just the beginning. With that, I want to introduce a key figure, a key part of this love story, someone where I wouldn't be here if not for him, Michael Rubin.
You know, this is a truly incredible moment and day in Virginia history and in the history of fixing the completely broken criminal justice system. I first want to say thank you to everybody here who's worked so hard to make this happen. To our CEO, Robert Rooks, and to Jessica Jackson, the reform team, who worked 24/7, inspired by Meek's story, figuring out how to fix the underlying laws that are broken so we don't keep putting people who don't commit crimes back in prison. I want to thank Governor Northam. Thank you very much. Delegate Scott. I mean, what an amazing story. I remember Meek telling me 6 months ago, hey, I saw this tweet and I responded to him, we got to fix these laws. And I was like, we're building this incredible organization, and Meek and Don are fixing the broken system on Twitter. It's kind of amazing. But yeah, but it's just, you know what? It just shows you, you never give up. I want to thank Justice Forward very much. And really, the governor said to me when I walked in here, it's team sport. Yes. And that's exactly what this is. And if there's one thing I've learned, I come from business where you can will things to happen. But here more than ever, you need to work as a team. And this is an incredible group of people who've worked their butts off to fix these laws. You know, I've had one belief my entire life, and it's every negative must be turned into a positive, and every failure must be turned into the next success. And my whole life, in my own business world, I've had so many things I've screwed up and failed at, but we've always turned it into a positive. And for me, there's nobody that I have more respect for than my guy, Meek Mill, because you know what? I met this guy probably 7 years ago now, and he was one of my closest friends when he called me one day and said, hey, can you come to court with me today? I want you to see what happens when a black person goes to court. And I didn't think anything about it. I'm like, what? It's like, we talked so many deep conversations, when we're out with our friends, but he's like, he wants me to come to court. I'm going to go to court with him. And I literally watched him. And by the way, I told him he was completely good. He was brought to court on a probation violation because he popped a wheelie on a motorcycle and he broke up a fight in the airport. There was no charges. There was nothing. These were literally no laws broken. And I said, Meek, you're great. There's no way you could possibly go to prison. And Meek said, Michael, I'm going to teach you about Black America. Watch what happens today. I said, you're great. And I went into this courtroom, and 3 hours later, I saw one of my closest friends be taken away in handcuffs and sentenced to 2 to 4 years in prison. And it was the most out of control I ever felt in my entire life. And Meek called me from jail an hour later, and he literally said, I told you so. He's in jail for 2 to 4 years. And the first thing he wanted to say was, I told you so. This is what happens in Black America. And you know what? From that experience and everyone working together to get him out of prison 5.5 months into the 2 to 4 year sentence, and then turn it into starting the Reform Alliance and us having an ambition goal of getting at least 1 million people out of the system who shouldn't be in it while keeping communities safe. And then to be here today with all of you who've worked so hard to change the laws and get Virginia to go from a laggard to a leader. That's right. That's incredible. Like, I'll tell you what, anything I can do in business doesn't feel as good as knowing that I played a small part from the inspiration of Meek and everything he's been through to help all of us come together to change the laws. But the person that we need to thank more than anybody is Meek, because this guy has been through everything. And no, he's been through everything. And I've been with him through dark days, and I watched him go to prison 2 different times for not committing a crime. Let me tell you something. Someone like me grows up in middle America, you don't think you go to prison or jail for not committing a crime. I didn't think it was possible. The first time I learned that you could go to prison or jail for not committing a crime was when Meek got me to go to court. And while that may have changed his life, it changed my life even more. So I just want to say, I'm always inspired by Meek, who has been on probation his entire adult life until literally about 1.5 years ago, okay? He would call me and say, I can't pick my kid up from school who lives 10 minutes away in New Jersey because I will get arrested and sent to jail if he doesn't pick his son, Poppy up from school. So, huge accomplishment today for the state of Virginia. for everybody coming together to get more logical laws to cap how long you can be on probation. Meek was 19 when he was sentenced for a crime that he didn't commit, and the police came forward 3 years ago, said, oh, sorry, he didn't actually do what we charged him of. But forget about that. He was on probation for 12 years. Nobody could be on probation for 12 years without doing something wrong, not showing up late, going to pick your kid up because you miss your kid. And you know what? To take that and turn it into this, man, you're the best. I'm proud of you. And I'm proud of Virginia. I look forward to us continuing to do this and working together. So thank you, everybody, very much.
I think, good morning, everybody. Even just to start this off, when me being at an event like this, just even Mike, hearing people speak on my name, just having words with the governor, from the part where I come from poverty. And we talked about it on the whole plane ride here, me and Mike, about just, sometimes he asked me, like, why you can't just get up and leave? It might be situations where, like, you know, we have 4 or 5 people that help us get to this, sustain this amount of success. So, you know, we always try to double back. And, you know, Mike made a brave move when I was in prison. I know a lot of people don't understand, and it seems kind of funny. Me and Mike been hanging out for about 8 years now. Mike is probably got 20 friends that's Caucasian that I hang out with on a daily basis. He's one of my best friends. And this is a real thing. I wanted to show him what a courtroom looked like when a black man goes to court. And I know he's a billionaire. He makes a lot of money. He don't deal with the same problems as me. He thought it was almost impossible for me to go to jail.
But it was impossible.
Yeah, he thought it was impossible. He was telling me on the day I went to prison, it's impossible you're going to jail. I'm like, Mike, I'm going to jail today. I have a child. I provide for my mother. I provide for my grandmother, my sister. I take care of all the women in my family coming from poverty. And when I used to step in the courtroom, I was addicted to Percocets. I started taking Percocets at the age of 23. I got 2 wisdom teeth pulled out my tooth. I never stopped taking them from that point. And that lasted for like 2 years. I had a dirty urine at one point. My judge sent me to prison for about 6 months. Gave me 2 years of extra probation on my 10-year sentence, so it became a 12-year sentence. And in all actuality, I wasn't chasing a lifestyle of crime. I was living in Philadelphia, where we have 400 or 500 murders a year. Probably I might have 10 friends murdered in a year, where at nighttime I don't sleep. So I turned to using medical drugs to kind of suppress me not sleeping at night, and just turning to drugs. It wasn't actually chasing a criminal lifestyle. I was being put in prison for that. It was a time I made my mind up just as a man that I have businesses. I do a lot. I take care of a lot of people that I shouldn't be like in a drug-driven lifestyle, being high. I made a decision to myself that I didn't want to do that. I signed up to rehab myself, paid for it myself. With my lawyers, they let me basically structure my own system up to take care of myself because I had the money and the resources. And once I did that, I've never been addicted to drugs again. I've never been put in front of the system for drugs. And just back to the bold move Mike made, I'm a rapper from Philadelphia. I come up from the streets. We grew up dancing on the laws of the lines of the law, because we come from poverty, where you might wake up where your little sister doesn't have anything to eat and your mom is on drugs, so you only way you know to feed your little sister is to step outside on your front door, where you don't even have to even go around the corner to commit a crime. Is on your front doorstep. So that's the way I grew up. I realized from hanging around Michael Rubin that is not the way he grew up. This is the first person I hung around that was extremely successful and that deep into the corporate world and didn't really experience the lifestyle I came up in. And he stepped up. He took a risk, not knowing my background, if I would commit another crime and mess his name up. He got Robert Kraft to step up. He stepped in the visiting room when I told him, as you know, I got found guilty for pointing a gun at a police officer. I am not suicidal. I never thought about killing myself. I know if you point a gun at a police officer, you might lose your life. And I don't really benefit out of pointing a gun at a police officer. That would not benefit my life to any effect. I would not get joy out of that. I used to always tell Mike every year, probably once every 6 months, Mike, you know I ain't point a gun at a cop. Mike, you know I didn't point a gun at a cop. And it took, and he used to hear me too, because he's my real friend, but it just was like a blowover conversation, so I always would repeat that part. And the moment I got locked up, he came to see me. I explained everything to him. I explained how badly I was beat. I explained that I did carry a firearm. I am from Philadelphia, where we have 400 murders a year. People that look like me get murdered by the gun. At the age of 18, I made that decision in my mind that I thought I needed to carry that firearm to remain alive, to sustain my life. I explained that to Mike, and after I explained everything about how I operate, the way I think, he stood up for me. And not to make this too long, I get paid not a dollar to do this. If you notice on Twitter, I try to dance the lines of remaining a rapper and remaining to be able to have certain children air so I can modify voices like him. So you may see things that you don't approve with, but I am a rapper. This is the business I chose. This is the dream I chose. That's how I got in a position to be here. So I try to dance the lines of remaining classy, but still keeping the air of younger people and people be able to speak to the governor today and be able to close gaps like Mike. Me and Mike built a relationship and take it as far as we could take it to better people's lives. I have the resources and I'm in a position to do better. I know people that's in like 100 times worse situations than me that I have no connection to, people I just met in prison along the way. And I seen people march and stand up for me, and with y'all support, I continue to do better than I started. I started making music in 2000, well, I got my deal in 2012. I was able to feed my family, provide jobs. Of course, I'm not perfect, but being in situations like this will make me become better and speed up the process. And I'll make sure I'll be able to deliver and close every bridge I can to help fix the system, because I was affected by that. So thank you guys for that. Alrighty, my man.
Being here, and thank you all for your powerful words. These are so meaningful and really inspire us to just go out there and do the right thing. So we really thank you all for your efforts. Thank you. Yes. So this is House Bill 2038. The chief patron is Delegate Scott, represents the 80th district from Portsmouth, Virginia. Yeah. There you go. Congratulations.
Can you do that one more time? Meek didn't have his camera on.
You ready, Meek? Yeah. All right, here we go. This might be the first bill ever that's been signed twice. All right. Oh, hold tight just a second. Meek. Souvenir from Richmond, Virginia. Mike. All righty, you all have a great day. Let's go.